Hi everybody and welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while and I've just been catching up on a lot of things that have stopped me from doing content as of late. So I'm back now and hopefully with more content to come. And in this video I'm going to be talking a bit more about Paul Pogba because of his comments in the press recently after his departure from Manchester United. Now, as a United fan, when he was brought in, particularly for the second time, it was something that I was really excited for. I thought to myself, you know what? This player has a lot to offer, given his performances at Juventus and his rise in the French national team before he won the World Cup, by the way. And I thought, yeah, United have got a bright future here and they will build the team around him and they will win more trophies, etc. But it just never quite worked out. And the reason why is because a part of me thinks that the team should have been built around Pogba, given the value of money. Over the years, he's just developed into something that is overrated. He's not consistent enough as a player. And when you have that in your team, it causes problems. It causes issues among the players, among the dressing room, and amongst the fans as well. His comments in recent days about Manchester United saying, oh, they didn't offer me enough money, it was a nothing deal, £300,000 a week. And I'm like, mate, do you honestly realise how lucky you really are to be offered that amount of money? It's not like he even justified that amount of money because he was rubbish for about 60% of the time when he was at United anyway. If it was, say, Lionel Messi, who was banging in 700 goals for his whole career, or at least, 30, 40 goals a season, then that would be justifiable. But this is Paul Pogba. Because he's a high brand name, you've got to kind of justify it. And the fact that he's moaning about United with their nothing offer, and it just baffles me. He doesn't realise how lucky he is to have been offered that money every week, by the way. Most normal people like myself and most people in the world would spend their whole lives, if not an extra life and an extra life, to earn that money. And yet he earns it in a week to just play a football on a pitch and not even be any good. And it's left a bit of a sour taste in the mouth, to be honest, because I know how good Paul Pogba can be. We know that from Juventus before, we know that from the French national team, but with United it just wasn't there. I gave him the benefit of the doubt in some ways because he was injury prone and he did have moments in which, he was hounded by the fans. And in fact, now thinking about it, there was a lot of press coverage over the past couple of years regarding what his agents have said. And a part of me feels, you know what, that's actually kind of true, because people were saying, Pogba hasn't come out and said this himself, it's on part of his agent and he should have a go at his agent. I'm starting to think, you know what, maybe it was Pogba, but it didn't make him look as bad because he's protecting his global image. That's where ego has come into something like this now with football players. Like the whole Kylian Mbappe thing, which I could talk forever about. And when it involves money, I could just go mad, because in fact money is probably the one issue in football that I cannot stand. If anything, it kills the game, to be honest, and I really hate it. And I know people will say, United fan, they've got loads of money, they've got the Glazers, they've got all this, that and the other, but there's a lot more to it than that. I didn't like United for the money, I liked them because I just like the club and I like the players. When you've got a player like Paul Pogba hoovering up that amount of money every single week to play rubbish football, or to just sit on the bench, or to be in the injury room, it's just unjustifiable. And now it's kind of ended his relationship with the fans and with Manchester United after having spent 6 years and his early years at the club, which is largely most of his career. In fact, I would say that Thiago at Liverpool at the moment is playing for them how Pogba should have been playing at Manchester United. In terms of the teams who will go for him, I think most people are thinking he'll go back to Juventus, and I think that's where he'll end up. But because it's Paul Pogba, I just think it's where the money's going to go. I don't want him to, personally. I want him to go where he feels like the final piece of the puzzle, where he can win trophies and be the player that he can be, because I know him, as I keep saying, that he can be a world-class player. It's just been underwhelming. If he was exceeding expectations, we could have seen United win a Premier League. We could have seen United get further in the Champions League. But I think it was just how the fans perceived Pogba and how they perceived the club in recent years, is that, too many egos who don't want to be there, who aren't winning trophies, and they just think they're bigger than the club. Because at the end of the day, no player is bigger than the club. Jesse Lingard's another example as well. And the fact that players just moan about it. If you justify the wage that you're on every week by performing to a certain standard, scoring loads of goals, or just generally contributing valuably to a team, then I would say, okay, fair enough, you've earned it. But he's not, and he's still complaining. And conveniently, he's making it public now by showing these comments on a documentary after he's left the club. He wouldn't have done it when he's at the club, would he? I just think when players do things like that, that they should be punished for it, even if they get fines or if they get, you know, suspensions from games. And it's just not fair, is it? Because it's like if a head teacher who's earning, I don't know, rough estimation, about £70,000, £80,000 a year, not a week, a year, on running a school, Ofsted, all the teaching curriculum and all those things, all the responsibilities, if they were earning that amount of money and they weren't doing a justifiable job, they'd be absolutely crucified for it. But just because it's a football player who gets, you know, that amount of money, plays poor football and doesn't contribute to the team and throws his toys out the pram when things don't go his way or he's not happy, then he just needs to look in the mirror, really, about where his morals lie. But it's football, isn't it? It's egos. That's what it's come to now, and that's what is a shame about it now. So I just had to comment on this whole Paul Pogba situation. Don't get me wrong, like I said, you know, he can be a great player, you know, World Cup winner at the end of the day. I just don't think he deserves the praise or the recognition that a lot of players would get if they actually performed well and justified the amount of money that they were getting paid to do every week. So what did you think of the Paul Pogba saga? Do you think he was a bit overrated? Do you think he was underrated? Have I been a bit harsh on him? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, if you did want to enjoy this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more, and have a notification bell tick so you're notified when I upload a new video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody.